Hello, buddy. Glitch Reaper here. Yeah, this is a bit different of a location. I've got some interesting reasons, because this is going to be kind of how I'm going to do some testing for Engender. Because I'm going to be testing out various compatibilities with it, but I'm going to be doing it more in a high-speed creative style, where I'm checking out different mods and how they handle things with it, and how Engender handles trying to figure out the different types of equipment that you can give your units. As usual, and kind of like how I had before, we will have Wila here as a testing. That was wow. That looked incredibly painful. But she got the last laugh, because that one did in fact die of withering effect. This is also why I have Project E in here. I may or may not actually test the equipment with them anytime soon, but I'm definitely going to be having it around for. You see, that's one of the things. I'll definitely be having around to dispose of various remains of testing, because it's always good to just throw it into a transmutation tablet. So, yeah. And these little guys are one of those things from DivineRPG. They're known as goblins, and they basically act kind of like mimic monsters, but they imitate just grass block. And whenever anyone or anything comes out to get too close, they surprise attack them. They have about 35 HP, but it's their attack power that really nails through. DivineRPG is kind of famous for being a big-scale mod in its numbers, but that's been scaled back after the combat update, but you can see even with the scale back, it's still serious business. So, ouch. I mean, we already found out that Wither Skeleton Girl versus Goblin does not turn out very well for the Wither Skeleton, or Wither Skeleton Girl for that matter, very often. I was going to just say Wila is going to be my tester, but then that illustrated the point of why I'm testing. Just so fast. That escalated quickly. I was going to test out some of these things, and as I kind of illustrated before on my series Breaking Vethy, it's great that some things have been added that were just logically supposed to be, like, after the combat update. Like, for example, shields. So, big thing. A lot of mods these days expand shields because some people might not be quite happy with just our vanilla options, so there you go. And now some things are going to be boss prizes, like the Halite Great Shield. Anything Halite is a boss prize. Like, you will never see an EMC value on them because you have to directly take down a boss to get it. Like some of the other things you can kind of... Oh yeah, I forgot to set that game roll. That's one way to illustrate that. Thank you there, Sudden Rain. There we go. Now that won't interrupt us from now on. Maybe I should be wary of where I start up my my tester here, because she might get smashed by a goblin if I'm not wary. So I might want to equip her up a bit quicker. But I was going to test some of these things that armor has, or at least some basic ideas of them. Now, some of these things, they wouldn't necessarily work on a player as good as they would on a mob, and some of these things they'd work better on a player than they would a mob. Like, for example, Step Assist. This is one of the things that's better on a player because most mobs already have that. So, it's not a big deal to a mob. Now, the ×3 movement speed, oh gosh. Yeah, that could be hilarious. Vmos giving health regeneration. Let's see, Arlemite range damage protection. I'm trying to think of something that would be very obvious. Now, plus 16 melee damage. Just, ouch. The Halite set, if you wanted to just frick them out. That would be awesome. That one literally has none? I'm kind of fascinated, because most DivineRPG sets have full set bonuses. Okay. Now, some things only really work in certain dimensions, like the Santa set only works in Icica, so that would not be... that wouldn't be a thing to do normally, no. But, yeah, now, no fall damage, that'd be easy to illustrate. You just throw them off a ledge. Now, Divine set has several different properties. It adds a bonus to melee damage. It grants extra jump height and no fall damage. So I think this would be a good one to experiment with. So, Divine Helmet... need to find the Divine set here. There's the leggings. Hello? Where's the... there's the chest plate. I just need to find the boots. Boots? There's the boots. Okay, now... There's some weapons that are infinite use. And that would be good, because it should be noted that if something does have durability, whenever you give one of your units an Engender, something that has, they will in fact use up durability. That's a universal compatibility thing, so I don't have to really go over that very much. I'm trying to think of what would be good. Now, I can go with one of my faves from my series and in general in DivineRPG. So I think I'll need to pop it over here because technically it counts as a ranged weapon. Here we go, Leopleurodon Anchor. And, do I want to attempt to give her a shield? Do I wish to do so? Because I don't think the shields will give specific bonuses. I think they're just nice. The Rupee Reflector. Now there's a name for a shield. Because even vanilla shields reflect shots. Scudum of the Skithern. Okay. Negosaurus Rex was really playing with the names here. I like that. Appalachia Shield. Mortalos. Okay. Is there a divine... Eden Aegis. Okay. Yeah, definitely going. Wildwood Guard. Is there a divine shield? Because I think it's more dimensionally themed. Let's go with the Rupee Reflector. That name caught me so fast, I've kind of got to go with it. So let's see if she'll accept a shield. Now, she will chase down mobs for quite some distance, which could be a problem with those little guys hanging out. Of course, this also would give us an opportunity to see how the damage is actually working. Oh, she's going towards something. Wow, this time she's the one nailing it. This thing just... It got pummeled. It really got pummeled. I'll, take that. Are you gonna chase them all down? Because you might not regen as fast as you think you are. Of course, one hit and then walk away is pretty good for Wither Skeleton to pull off. So, I think she's got a good tactic at least. Hit and run. I mean, it's the classic maneuver for guerrilla tactics, so... For guerrilla warfare. If the enemy is powerful, you hit them, you run away, you come back, you wear them down. That's like the old school. Oh, oh gosh, that reminds me of some very historical stuff, some of which was really cool. You just he's probably still gonna... Yeah, the wither effect is just like revenge. if she doesn't take it out straight out, she will get her revenge with the wither effect. This has suddenly evolved into a mob battle. Of course, that is how I'm going to test this out, is seeing how it performs in combat, so yeah. Oh, something I should totally get from Engender. Oh gosh, almost forgot about that. Okay. I mean, it is pretty important to get one of these. Especially if I want to equip her in an area of which there's things I need to avoid. Okay, you just renamed it the Carrier. Now, so a lot of this stuff has been rehashed, and at some point I'm going to try to get with Instrument of Doom again and go over a lot of the rehashed stuff, because the mod has had just a serious overhaul and will again, so we're kind of thinking of doing it after like his next wave of overhaul when he does like so much other stuff. But yeah, I needed a mob carrier, so that way I can try to protect her from herself as she just charges recklessly against the enemy, which is usually a good thing because that spares the player, but in this case I'm trying to equip her, so that... Wow. Did I just get two mini versions instead? Yeah, I think that... You know, it's not just me. There's something universally happening recently. I've noticed some other people have been having issues with something in Windows. I think it's become more sensitive to mouse clicks for some reason in general. Yeah, that's partially happening. Let me just grab the taller one, please. If she's the survivor. They do have different... Missed. Yoink. Okay. I'm gonna let her run off there and take him out so I can have some time to equip one. That would be nice. And then I can actually, like, pull off doing my testing. This has quickly also come down to the science of how do you test when they like to run away. Hello? Did you just relocate? Or did the clicking thing... Oh, yeah, I guess you have to do it very gently. Okay, I'm gonna equip you up, and it's gonna be awesome. Wait until I can get you better stats. Then we'll let you clobber stuff, okay? Okay. Okay, let's do it that way. I don't see her doing more damage than she was before, so I don't think the armor works in that way. It still provides armor, like she took a lot less damage. But it's just not doing that +6 melee damage for a full set. So full set bonuses don't always register with Engender mobs. That's a theme I've got going here from testing for quite some time, actually. Let me, yoink. And then the other one just comes in from behind and just goes in. Just runs away, like, okay. Like, I know what the tactic is here. Boink. You go that way. I'll. Okay, that was impressive, but I may have to get her to drop her stuff so that I can get the Leopleurodon anchor on her. So let's try this a little bit differently. That one is. All right, are you trying to nail this one? Is that what you're trying to do? Because you're definitely one that I placed down. Okay, I'll try to do this far away from any other. So let's see if she'll accept not pathing up a tree. Okay, that looked like it hurt, so I'm gonna say fall damage probably also is not really respected entirely. Trying to click her to get the armor off is tricky whenever you have a lot of grass in the way. Or maybe it's just not... Maybe you have to sneak click now. Yeah, you have to. Okay. So that's just a straight up change in how it works. I can see why he did that, because I can see you accidentally, just really annoyingly accidentally just doing it all the time. So I can see why he made that change. Especially when some changes like that were previously discussed. So it had been considered is a thing. Okay, so she can run off and take care of stuff for a while. I need to get Wyla equipped in a better way, because I need to give her a Leopleurodon anchor and a shield. That's what I'd like to do, but she's extremely zippy. She did get it, and it did not work. At least not very well. Ouch. Because, I mean, this counts as a melee weapon. And that thing just got away. Ouch. Not a good time to be Wyla. She's not having a good day, to say the least. Let me assist here. Maybe you'll survive this incident. Okay, you... Look, come over here, you. Wyla... Literally, next hit afterwards, just gone. The Coblins are definitely a problem. Interesting. You don't actually activate them in creative unless you get just the right shooting angle. Didn't really think about that. But, yeah, I guess because of how they are almost merged with the ground, they are difficult to even hit in creative. But yeah, I was going to try to get her out in a way that I could equip her differently. Because I'd like to be able to... This is tricky with these guys right here. Special note, even if just for myself, remember to always install swing through grass. Because it really, really does help. I was going to try to get her into a situation where she's not going to aggro on them, and I can unequip her so that I can give her better stuff. Where are these guys just coming out of the woodwork? I will just clear them out here if I need to. Okay, you just march on to the first one of you that stays for any length of time. I'm going to de-equip and re-equip. And she's running off for the next one already, I'm pretty sure. Wait. Does she finally have a moment where she has no specific attack decision? Can I officially... Okay. I noticed you dual wielding there. Maybe it's just delayed. Wait, what did I... How did... Okay, I must have backed up into it. Okay, she's definitely mine. But for some odd reason, not really working with that. Be having a slight issue there. Can I get you to not dual wield and... not working as quickly as I thought. I'll wait until I get one that's not just running off into the sunset. At least that's the plan. That one ran off into the sunset. Well, that one at least only has one sword. How? Okay. That's it. I'm gonna peaceful it for a moment. Because they're mine, so therefore they're not going to just go away. They're considered basically to be tamed. Okay, again, this is why I have this item, is to just dispose of remains of various things very quickly. Is this... Come on. Fork over the swords, please. Can you hold a shield? No, you cannot. Not yet. They're not big enough to hold a shield. Can you? Okay, you can equip it. You can equip it. Now. Okay, now you are preferably ready. You don't register this normally, so I'm probably going to have to grab one of the regular things. Okay, now, whenever I turn the option back on, I bet they're going to spawn in super fast. Because they're one of the few things in this biome. So the goblins are going to come in, and then they're going to just get wrecked very quickly. But yes, they do support the shields. The armor looks nice, but it doesn't seem to have full set bonuses registered properly. When it comes to mobs. When it comes to players, yes. Now, I can see that being a good thing. Like, you wouldn't want a zombie to steal your stuff and then just smash you with it with extra force. But at the same time, whenever you have a mod like Engender that allows you to equip an army of your own, then it quickly becomes irritating when you can't give them that special property now. Now, this is also showing that, okay, that worked out pretty well. Okay, I needed to grab this for a very particular reason, don't worry. Let me grab you before anything else happens. Whew! Okay, okay. So that test went pretty well. I know the armor's not doing those kind of things. But there are other things to test. Like, for example, do they have the ability to get a regular weapon property to work? And what I mean by regular is kind of one that's automatic. Like, apparently that weapon wasn't registering as anything in particular, because it's kind of a special class. It's ranged and melee, but not in the regular way you'd think of. So it might not have been something they could regularly use. An Inferno sword. Here's an idea. This thing deals pretty good damage in and of itself. 12 attack damage, regular speed as a sword, but the big thing is, this thing has no durability, and it burns mobs for 12 seconds. So, the ability to set things on fire is very apparent, and it's something that you can use as a standard, because if you can see that you've got them set on fire, you know that the weapon's at least doing that right. That guy just got annihilated by one that managed to find them. Okay, so what do I want to try for another armor set? Well, DivineRPG armor isn't doing its full sets. Let's try something from block armor. Let's go with because I know block armor's had a while to do, like, different stuff, and there are some sets that you'd think would work out better than others. Obsidian is just awesome. Flame-resistant health boost, immovable. But I have noted before that had a hard time working with mobs, but again, that might be different now, and hence why I'm going to try another armor out. Now, cactus armor isn't really that big of a deal, but it has the ability to give a thorn-like effect, and it deals extra damage just when running into enemies. So that enables kind of an easy testing, because if you see an enemy take damage the moment they hit, there's a good chance that's why. I probably want to get back that sword, though, because... I mean, not sword, that shield, because it looks good. And it's a shield, so we'll see if they're using the shield right. Okay, so I'm just going to put it on peaceful in between rounds of getting them stuff, because that seems to be the best way to guarantee that they're going to be able to do so. So that's your sword, that's your shield. You're armored up properly. I will now poof you into your carrier and turn it on to normal. This means goblins will be spawning in approximately 5 seconds. So, yeah, it's that quick. Because the thing is, they're one of the few mobs that can show up in daylight hours, or daylight minutes in Minecraft, technically. And they also tend to prefer this kind of environment. And because it is super flat, and for, kind of the overworld type, which is pretty much set to plains, yeah. Yeah, they're gonna swarm them. So this is admittedly also fun to just watch. But they hunt them down actively, so if you want a way to keep from stumbling onto goblins, Engender is a pretty good way to do it, because they will, in fact, just run in and attack, even if they take themselves down the process. So this really illustrates that point. That is a very short wither skeleton woman. It does say woman, so therefore I'm just going with that. Okay. Wyla the Tester. This is now your time to rock. Because if you can set this creature on fire, we'll know that trait is at least working. Well, at least I thought it could be set on fire. Okay, now I can watch other traits of the armor. It does seem to be doing its thorns, though, so the cactus armor does seem to be able to do that, at least. But the sword isn't really setting things on fire. I know that he supports enchantment on weapons, though. I know Indrament of Doom has done that. Wow. Ironically, that armor is just doing one of the best things. How, that's not really high tier armor on armor class, so, wow, it's just apparently doing way better. So, congrats. I think the thorns is actually helping out, but it's also her shield, because I'm pretty sure she's actually using up durability on the shield. Now, there is a good way to check, because I know that shield has, like, typical durability. Okay, like, it's not an infinite shield, or it would have said so. But then again, why is... Oh, that's... Why is that taking... Did I pick up one of hers? Maybe. Actually, I think she just pummeled them too fast to really get hit. I think that's what's going on here. So I don't think she used either the armor or that. I think she just pummeled him very harshly. So there's also that happens, which kind of complicates trying to see how the stuff works. You just zip the extras over that way, please. Okay, there we go. Okay, are we on peaceful? Yes, we are. I'm gonna have to remember to do that. To have it on peaceful in between, so that I can equip them up properly. This is another reason why I decided to retool this into a creative series. Is that wouldn't exactly be normal survival rules. At least not technically. Well, the way most people see it. And that one just knows how to stay away. She's like, nope, I'm not ready yet. That time, she took some damage. Okay. That's an indication of yes, it's working, because that time she did take a hit. And I think that she did in fact deal damage back immediately, so the Thorns effect on that is working. Although, if I remember correctly, and I'll need to put this on myself. Yeah. Whenever you get an effect that duplicates an enchantment, it in fact just gains that enchantment as long as you got enough of the set in block armor. And it can be set to have less than 4 pieces, so it's not necessarily always a full set bonus, but it is a set bonus. But the way I configure it, I almost always have it set to full set, because realistically that's going to be the way I'm going to do that. It's just the way I run with armor thinking, because DivineRPG was one of the first mods to do that, actually. It was one of the first to do a full set bonus. One of. It wasn't the first. I think, but it was pretty early on. I think the first may have been Hexit Gear, but I'm not 100% certain. It may have been DivineRPG, but again, they were like really early. Then again, I think, well, actually, it may have been Ether Mod. I'm trying to remember if they did full set bonuses after those other, after some of the others started doing it, or if they truly did it before. But either way, DivineRPG was really early on in that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it back to peaceful again, so that I can get her gear and see if any of it took any damage, to know if she technically took a hit. Because this time I think she did. Nope. Not really. Well, then again, the cactus armor does have regrowth. That's infinite uses. But is this infinite use? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe I need to try a different shield? Or maybe that one really is infinite. I just happen to randomly choose it. Because regrowth means that I wouldn't know if the durability damage had been taken on cactus. But I do think the Thorns was working pretty well. So that's a thing to note. I know I'd kind of tried testing this out before in Engendered Frontier with some mixed luck. Partially because the collision thing that it does kind of works both ways. That can be painful to work with, so I didn't check it out too much because of that particular feature. Now, I can try out something else before I head off, because there's other ranged weapons, and I'm wondering if at least one of them actually counts. Yeah, the phasers. Let's see, Skithern. I think Mortis is one. No, the Halite phaser would be the most powerful of all. Yeah, the Halite phaser. Okay, so I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to give her the phaser. You hang out there, okay. Now, I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to give her the phaser as her primary option. Or at least I'm not going to give her the Ruby Reflector. See, do I want to give her the Inferno Sword? I'm definitely going to give her the phaser. Okay, so... Okay, you have something. Now, will you register a ranged option? Is what I'm pondering. Well, I think I want to actually put her in the thing first. Yeah. Okay, that makes sure that I have the situation under control. Okay. So... will she register a different form of ranged weapon? Because you can let them have a ranged weapon and a melee weapon, and they will smartly choose between them. If they've got enough range, then they'll try to use the ranged weapon if they register it as such. I think it was really fascinating what happened with Botania. I don't think he even intended to do that, but they actually registered the fact that it also counted as range because it had a ranged ability. You just kept swinging it towards the enemy, and it would sometimes hit them at range because it would create a beam. But the beam turned out to be invisible whenever I was testing it. So I was like, really? What? What is up with that? Okay, you see one. Oh, come on. You have almost the same setup. Except you have the phaser first. Okay. That was terribly painful. Because I had the phaser in our main hand. Okay, this illustrates the fact that that stuff does take damage, but also properly does the regrowth effect while it's inside their inventory, which I find interesting and good to note that it does in fact work, because I'd been testing it out previously and I couldn't notice it because something was happening so quick that it would, because I was only testing leggings, but, well, actually it wasn't that I was only testing leggings, but the leggings were going away too fast for me to figure out whether or not it was working, because there was something that could just really rip through the durability of leggings. So I'll try to remember to do this initially on peaceful and then go out, because this place has a lot of enemies I can test on, but that's also the problem, is they are practically swarming the place. So that's an issue. And I'll have to just remember that the big bypass is put it on peaceful and then turn it on to normal, and then you should be fine. Apparently, they don't register phasers. They are a ranged weapon, but it's not going that way. Now, I could also try some other stuff at another time, but it's just going where there's kind of an interesting mixed luck with this whole ordeal. But that's part of the testing out, so you can kind of see what's working and what's not with DivineRPG. Like the major stats for the armor is working fine, but the full set bonuses aren't exactly registering with Engender mobs. For some odd reason, even though it's supposed to be like a base ability of the Inferno Sword, Inferno Sword, that it just sets enemies on fire on contact, it doesn't seem to do so even when used by an Engender mob. And although its attack power seems to apply properly, so it's a bit of a mixed thing. At least I think it was applying properly. I certainly know that the armor's defense was good. But this isn't the highest tier sword in DivineRPG, so you can kind of see why it may not have necessarily showed good performance, because a lot of the mobs in DivineRPG are pretty rough and tumble. So it's just a thought there. So I'll probably also try this out with other mods and try to see if various properties work. Like, I may even see if I can get them into space, which would be cool, because there is like a spacesuit where it's based on the suit, and I'm wondering if that would protect them from airless environments. And there's other things kind of like that that I'm going to be testing, just kind of crazy, kooky, will this work with Engender, or for that matter, in general, possibly, just mobs that have the ability to have equipment. Because this is an interesting way of seeing how that works, and it's one of the reasons why I'm testing this, is because sometimes equipment is only really meant to be used by players in ways that only players register because of how the code works. Like, it'll kind of have an on-armor tick thing that only really detects if they're on a player and whether or not it's like a full set or full set needed. So there's like various ways the code works, and sometimes this is a way of seeing how that's actually put together. It's just seeing, will it actually work on a mob rather than on yourself. So there's an interesting thought. But it's something I'll be checking out over time, and I kind of hope you like this retooled version where I'm going into checking out specific mods and seeing how their stuff works with Engender, and for that matter, equipable mobs in general. So for now, I'll be logging off. Hope to hear from you all later, and bye for now, everybody.